the boat once again, spooling up some rods, actually taking some line off. Had a pretty bad backlash on this. Just nothing to do about it once in a while. Sometimes you hit something and make a huge backlash and it's beyond repair. But I'm gonna spool up some line, and there's a lot of different ways to spool up line, and I found a few ways to do it. You can spool up line easily, quickly, and properly by yourself with these tips. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the new subscribers. If you like this content, please like. If you want to subscribe, please do. But I'm going to show you some tips on spooling line by yourself. Now with a friend, it's really easy. You know, you got a buddy, you hand them a pencil and they stick it through the spool and they hold it and hold the right tension. Super easy. But if you're by yourself like I am right now, there's a few things that you can do to spool your line properly and correctly to make sure that it goes on smoothly and you're going to have less issues down the line. And a lot of it depends on the type of spool that you're using. You know, a big bulky bulk spool is going to be a little bit more difficult than a filler spool, you know, the 200-yard spools. I'll show you a couple different ways that I spool each of those right now. And one of those ways is actually a device that I've installed on my boat. It's from DD26. It's called the Spool Sticks. It's not really cheap. It's about 40 bucks for what it is. I think it's a little bit overpriced, but it works like a charm. It's really easy to install, but I'll show you how it works. It's mounted down here in my boat. The cool thing about that is most of the time when I'm spooling, I'm in my boat or around my boat. I mean, this is where I keep my rods. This is where a lot of my line is, so it makes sense. It's always there. I've used it on the water. I've used it sitting in a parking lot. I've used it here in the garage. It's really handy for what it is. Another tip is to use backing on your reel, and this is for several reasons. One, you're just gonna use simply less line because you already have line on there. It's also going to make the process a lot quicker. I like to use some of my old yellow braid, you know, from spinning rods. I like that yellow because if you can see any glimpse of that yellow color coming through your line on a long cast, you know it's time to think about re-spooling. So I like that yellow braid. There's also some other benefits of braid. I know Aaron Martin's always talked about this. The late great Aaron Martin's always talked about having a lighter backing would help your spool spin faster. I don't know the exact specifics of it, but you know, if he said it, he's probably did some research into it, and I've always done it ever since. So using a braided line, and yellow preferably, is a great backing. That Spool Sticks, like I said, it's great. It's really easy to use. You just slide the line on the stick and start reeling. It's great. You can also add like a shirt or a jacket or anything like that on it to give it a little more tension, but you don't have to. Another quick tip, when you're joining your new line to your old line, you know, a lot of people have differing opinions on this, but I don't think this knot is ever going to see the light of day. So I just tie a quick double overhand like that. Because again, it's quick, easy, small. It's not going to interfere with spooling. It's not going to be a big bulky bump in your reel. Then trim that piece off. Then simply reel it on until it's where you need it to be. See how quick that is? That's about how much line I like on it. You know, not all the way to the top, but still far enough up where there's a little bit of just a little ledge there, like a little lip. I couldn't even begin to say how small that is there, but not all the way to the top. But definitely don't underfill your reels, because you're gonna cast, you're gonna retie, you're gonna keep cutting it off, and it's just gonna be gone a lot quicker if you don't do that. So fill it up as much as you can without overfilling it, and you're gonna get better casting distance. You're gonna maintain the same gear ratio. You know, there's so many benefits to it, but primarily casting distance and not having to re-spool as much. The other thing I really like is this. It's the Bass Mafia blade coffin. So originally this is designed for holding spinnerbaits. It had a rod through there, you know, with these little bags and things like that. But I actually like to store my bulk spools in there. It fits 3 of them perfectly. And then you could just reel right on, you know, right off of that. To reel off it has a perfect amount of tension. So you could do this quickly by yourself. It's awesome. And you could do it with other things, a box that fits pretty close, you know, that there's not much room to move around. You know, I know a lot of people like hotel ice buckets, you know, the old school square ones. There's a lot of different similar devices, but that is one way to keep your spool in place when you're spooling by yourself. The final one I'm going to show you is when you're spooling the filler spools, you know, either 200-yard spool of fluorocarbon or braid, you know, just those standard spools. And all you do is you get it started and then hold it with your 2 fingers here and then reel with the other hand. It's the right amount of pressure. It's really super easy to do. And it's really fast, especially if you're using that backing like I said I always do. Just like that, I'm just about done. But that's all you need to do. Just hold that tension like that. Really easy to do. It doesn't take that much dexterity. You can do it. That's the final way. There's 3 ways to spool by yourself quickly, efficiently, and correctly.